time for the top 5.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Time now for the top 5. And tonight,
we're so off the rails tonight.
In honor of the opportunity Jarrett Stidham had, not the performance, we're going to take a look at the top 5 backup quarterback stories in NFL history. A lot of great names left off this list, and I want to start with some honorable mentions first. Guys, I wanted the chance to talk about Frank Reich, Earl Morrall, Jeff Hostetler, just to name a few, all off the list, but deserving. All right, starting off here. Number 5, it's Nick Foles. Call it recency bias, but Foles bounced around the league after a hot start with Philly. They came back to Philly as a backup, took over for an MVP candidate in Carson Wentz, beat Tom Brady, and led the Eagles to their first Super Bowl title, and he's now got a statue out front. And oh, by the way, has one of the most iconic Super Bowl touchdowns ever. Given his performance in the big stage, he deserves a spot here at number 5. At number 4, Jim Plunkett. Guy who doesn't get nearly the respect he deserves as a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Took over in 1980 for an injured Dan Pastorini and never gave him the job back. He helped the Raiders win title number 2 and 3, all while navigating a move from Oakland to Los Angeles. Also the first minority to quarterback a team to a title, and the second of 4 players ever to win the Heisman Trophy and Super Bowl MVP. All right, moving on here. Number 3, Doug Williams, originally a backup to Jay Schrader. Back in 1986, he had a contentious relationship with. Williams took over the starting job midway through the strike-shortened 1987 season and led a high-flying offense to a title. More specifically, his performance in Super Bowl 22 is one of the best ever. 18 completions for 340 yards and 4 touchdowns. First African-American quarterback to start in a Super Bowl and the first to win it, which was a huge talking point before and after the game. At number 2, one of the greatest stories ever. Kurt Warner, third-string quarterback in 1999, coming from the Arena League, gets the start due to injuries and transforms the Rams into the greatest show on turf. League MVP, Super Bowl MVP, a magical transformation for a life and a career that was literally turned into a movie and still feels unbelievable. So what's better than that? Well, you know, number 1, the guy that beat Warner in the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 36. 6th-round draft pick by the name of Tom Brady, backup to Drew Bledsoe, thrust into the spotlight in Week 2. Brady steadied New England's offense in the 2001 season. Bledsoe actually came into the AFC Championship game as a backup and led the Patriots to their 3rd Super Bowl appearance. But Belichick stuck with Brady anyway, and the rest is history, starting his legend in the big game with a game-winning drive. After that, he'd only win, 6 more titles, become the greatest quarterback ever. Whatever, not too bad. Saad, what do you make of the list here?
Yeah, no, I was very curious about what your standard is going to be, because if Tom Brady is, part of the pool, then of course that would be the guy. If you're talking true backups, then I think Nick Foles for me would probably be number 1, with Frank Reich right up there as one of those guys, because a lot of those guys like Jim Plunkett, Tom Brady, those guys, they are starters. But by your standard, I would say both of the most recent Cowboys quarterbacks would be right up there for me as well. And Tony Romo took over for Drew Bledsoe against the Giants in 2006, and then Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo. So I think both of those guys deserve a mention there. And then if I'm talking one game, even then you have a Cowboy quarterback in Jason Garrett and what he did on Thanksgiving. So there is some Cowboys ties in all of those scenarios for me.
Mike?
Yeah, I think I'm fixated like Saad is on the qualifications here, because if some of the guys that you included in this listing are categorized as backup quarterbacks, who doesn't count as a backup quarterback? Do they have to have started from game one of their first season to not qualify as a backup at some point along the way?
Dak qualifies in that. He started game 1 and went the entire season.
But even he wasn't set to be the starter to begin the year.
And neither was Warner, neither was Brady. That's part of the thing. And that was part of the discrepancy that I had going into the list. Because I kept thinking, well, Hostetler's got to be on because he's like the quintessential backup guy to win a title. And yet at the same time, when you actually break it down and sit there and add all these qualifying to it, you just get too tunnel vision. And I feel like that removes the opportunity for a guy like Brady, a 6th-round draft pick, to actually turn things around and become what he did. So that's where I felt like I had to lean in that direction.
Yeah, another guy then, by that standard, Steve Young would be right up there for me as well, because Steve Young was a backup for a long time for Joe Montana before he took over as a starter. Yeah,
it's tough to kind of thread that needle, but I kind of landed on backups who won the season they were a backup, and then how that kind of transpired after that. Because again, if we're just going on backup careers, Earl Morrall's probably one of the best ever. I mean, the guy literally backed up Johnny Unitas, came in and won MVP the year after Unitas won MVP. And all but a Joe Namath guarantee is the reason why he's not walking off the field with the best resume.
Another Cowboy that could fit into this, Danny White, was Roger Staubach's backup and the Cowboys punter. You can go so like...
There's a lot of great stories. I think that's the sum total of all of this for sure.
This really turned into a "What do you think about the list" segment.
What else is it going to be?